Welcome back to the Built for More podcast with myself and my co-host Jordan. Episode 9, I believe. So once again, quick shout out to all of those who have listened. Thank you so much. We are going to get stuck in with this episode. Little bit of a Sorry, babe. Am I boring you?
First of all, I'm not your fucking co-host. You're my co-host.
If I were about to say I'm not your babe.
And that second. And thirdly, yeah, clearly tired. This is not kicking in.
Quick, say the sponsor.
Yeah, like that's gonna sponsor me. Fucking hell.
You do it every week. Just for the listeners, what is it?
New tonic.
Tonic. Yeah, so as I was saying, before someone yawned their head off, we are delving into the physical standards in relationships. We are looking into whether it is shallow to lose attraction to a partner who lets themselves go a little bit, or whether it is a natural reaction. And me and Jordan are going to get into the uncomfortable truths about love, lust, and the gym.
By the way, can I just make things fair? People that know me, I did not come up with this podcast episode. Let's just get that clear, right? Well, it's gonna be like a relationship counselling therapist.
No, disclaimer, we're not relationship
No, we're
counselors.
not. But that's what it's gonna feel like.
No, I feel like this is a reality check.
What, that if you get fat, I'm leaving you.
Well, that's, yes, the gist of it. But, I mean, if you want to jump straight in and answer that question, I'm quite
Well,
intrigued
they've
now.
got an insight to what we're gonna go through now, haven't we? So go on. Then.
Yeah, so we're basically going to go through why it's not your partner's job to find you attractive, how to have the talk with your partner without necessarily ending the relationship. And then we do have a listener's dilemma. One of my clients who I spoke to about this episode, she said she wanted her input because it speaks volumes to her. So we have got a listener's message that we are going to read out and give advice on, not relationship advice, at the end of this episode. So let's dive in. Oh, you might as well answer that question. If I was to be out of shape, I'll put it a little bit nicer. If I was to get out of shape in the following years, would you still find me attractive?
What if he was a fat lad ass?
Yeah, so like if I gained quite a lot of body fat, was probably fairly round because I'm quite short, aren't I? So let's face it, I'll fill outwards. You'd be maybe whirling me around, like a little potato. Yeah, would you still find me attractive? Is our love really unconditional?
You in off season, you are a potato.
Do you find me attractive?
Uh, what now or
Can I just say he rated me a 7 out of 10 yesterday?
no? Wait, what? When did I say that?
He rated my ass a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, crazy. People think we do weird shit. I'm just rating your ass.
I can't remember how it happened or
Cat
how it
now.
came into conversation. But
Just
yeah,
my
that was
ADHD kicked in, and I was just being silly again, wasn't I? Clearly.
yeah, but then what did we come up with? Well, you came up with ratemybum.com.
MyBum.com.
I actually think this could be a thing.
MyBum.com. Everyone. I mean, there's an OnlyFans for that, so I don't think it actually needs to be a thing.
Yeah, but it made me laugh. Anyway, yeah, so potato, do you
What?
find me?
What? Hang on a minute. Let's go back to the bum situation. If yours is a 7 out of 10, what's mine? I'm gonna get disrespected like a motherfucker right now. I don't know why I
I was
asked.
going to be generous and say 4.
Lost your soul.
You've got a little bit of a triangle bum.
I'm not Buddy Romesh. If anyone knows that Romesh, by the way, the comedian, you'll get that joke.
Okay, this podcast is about bums.
RateMyBum.com. Link is in the bio.
Shooting back then to I still want your answer if you would find me attractive as a couch potato.
How out of shape are we talking? Because in off season, for us when we gain the muscle, there's a little bit of extra cute
Yeah, but
fluffiness.
I mean, like, I really let myself go. Like, maybe I gain like a good 5, 6 kilo of fat, no muscle, like genuine fat. And it's not just
I think you'd
a
still be
weight
alright.
gain. It's not
Yeah.
just a weight gain, but like I stopped going to the gym. I just stopped looking after myself.
And the question was, would I what?
Would you still find me attractive? So love is
Hey,
definitely not unconditional then, is it?
mm, that to answer, yeah, you can still love someone. How many people love somebody but they're not together?
Yeah, well, that's what's going to be my next question. Like, love doesn't have to, I suppose, boil down to attractiveness. Like, I think it becomes an issue in the relationship if you're not attracted to your partner anymore because they've got out of shape. It does become an issue at some point because obviously the intimacy and the sexual side of things probably not going to be there. But don't say anything. But I feel like you was about to have a jab and be like, it's not there anyway.
You've just dropped something there, not me.
But if we, I forgot my train of thought now.
Something about unconditional love. All I was thinking is the case of it's like when people get together, you get for the attractiveness. So obviously, if someone's not attracted in the way that you got to them for that reason, yeah, you're gonna be fucking second guessing, right? And please don't give me that bullshit. Oh, but they've got a beautiful personality.
Yeah, but going back to what you said initially is you can still love somebody and not find them physically attractive, but it is gonna become an issue if it's not sorted out, isn't it? At some point in the relationship, because you can't have that. You can't. That's when people say that love isn't enough. Like you can't just rely on the fact that you really care and love for that person for the
would
rest of your lives.
Would you love me if I was a little chubba chub chub?
I mean,
That's a
yes,
bit.
I would love you, but I wouldn't find.
Yeah, you've heard it there first, people. She wouldn't love me. I never said that.
I wasn't paying attention. But then at what point then, okay, so scenario, you don't find me attractive anymore. I've got a little bit weighty, I'm a little bit round, I'm not myself. At what point, or if at what point, do you think it is appropriate or justified for you to have a conversation with me about that? Do you
Sorry, my
think
mind.
it is your job to have a conversation with me?
Just take it back for a second. My mind was wandering off while she was speaking there, as it always does. When you was a kid at school,
Yeah.
maybe this is just the schools I went to. I don't know. There was a chant. I'm going to call it a chant, and it's quite horrible now saying it. And you just go, "She's fat. She's round. She bounces off the."
Oh, I hope he wasn't one of them bullies chanting that.
I'm not saying I did it. I'm saying it. Anyways, yeah. Back to your question. That was all that was coming into my head.
So that's what you're gonna do. In five
And
years'
then
time, I get
it's also the bride. You heard the bride one. I said this to the other day, I think, didn't I? Here
no.
comes the bride, big, fat, and wide.
Oh yeah.
I'm not a bully. I've not said any of this, by the way.
So you're not gonna need to sit me down and have a conversation once I get out of shape because I'm just gonna hear you chanting that around the house and I'm gonna fucking know, aren't I?
No, it's like, hey, fatty, fatty, bum, bum. Fancy another cream cake?
For listeners that are actually paying attention here and probably maybe want a little bit of help and guidance how to navigate this, serious answer. When do you think it's appropriate to pull your partner up on that, or do you think it's maybe your job to just lead by example and kind of hope to try and sway them back on track?
No, leading by example can only go so far. Same with clients, net. You can only do so much for them before it is literally on them to make a decision. So, when would I? What was it? When would I leave you?
No, when would you
Tell
sit
you.
me down and yeah, if you think it's the right thing to tell me.
Why have you let yourself go though?
Well, that's the thing, isn't that maybe what the conversation would be? You'd want to try and get to the bottom of why I've let this happen.
If you let yourself go just because, I don't know, yeah, it depends. Like, if there's a certain situation that's mentally took a toll on you, you know, hopefully no one does die, but if you're grieving of something, and I know you wouldn't because, like you say, we speak to a lot of clients where they use a lot of excuses to then not do fuck all, but in some cases, I think like that, it's a bit more of a difficult conversation, isn't it? To like, what the fuck you playing at? You're looking like a little chubster.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. The conversation probably wouldn't go that way, would it? I feel like there's two sides to this. I feel like some women, because I'm speaking from a woman's perspective now, obviously, because I am female. Some women I know personally wouldn't like their partner to have that conversation with them. Some women would take that as disrespectful and they would be offended if their partner was just like, come on now, like, what's going on? Get out of shape. Because ultimately, all they will hear is, my husband just called me fat. Oh no. Like, they're not going to sit there and be like, oh, he cares about me. He's concerned. He wants to know what's going on, why I'm not looking after myself anymore. All they will take away from that conversation is their husband has basically outright said, you're fat and I'm not attracted to you anymore. Right?
Yeah, well, it's different for us because we'd straight up say it.
Yeah, but I feel like some people would. I feel like everybody's different. I feel like there's other women out there that would very much respect their partner for saying that and pulling them up on it. I feel like some women would be very offended by that. And I suppose you know your partner, so you kind of know which way to go with that conversation. But also, yes, going back to what you said, sometimes there's a way deeper level. And I think depending on what's maybe triggered it, then yeah, you have to take into account, are they going through something? Are they suffering with their mental health? Are they, I don't know, they've just had two children and whatever, and they've really, struggled with their hormones afterwards, they really struggled with their energy, they're struggling with sleep. There's just so many contributing factors. I suppose you give it so long, but then at some point there has to be a breaking point where it's like, okay, I've given you, long enough to kind of deal with that, and it's getting to the point where, like, if nobody says anything or nips in the bud and no one's there to support you or help you, it's just going to keep spiraling, and then it's going to really impact the relationship. So I suppose it's identifying that. And then
Yeah.
that leads me to my question. And would you be offended if she was on the other foot and I said, mate, you're getting fat?
First of all, who the fuck are you speaking to? I
I
ain't
was like, I ain't into dad bods. Move along now.
fucking. If Tim's listening to this, I feel like I got a fucking dad bod at the moment. Jesus Christ, honestly, looking at it now, hanging over like a right gut.
Okay, so would you be offended if I said that you need to, like, you're not looking so trim and not really finding you sexy no more?
It's hard to answer now because I'm thinking in the future. One, I wouldn't let myself go because I know the type of person I am. But playing off what you're saying, no, I wouldn't be offended. Well, I think you would naturally because it's the first response to be like, "Oh, fucking hell, that's a bit of a taken back." But ultimately, it's more of the respect. I go, do you know what? I'm someone that responds to someone who tells me. Don't beat around the bush. I hate that shit.
And I suppose it's that thing, like, the truth can hurt, the truth hurts. And I think, like, sometimes, yes, there will be that initial, like, even though you know it's true because you know you've let yourself go, there'll still be that initial hurt, like, someone else has said it. But it's like what we say when we have conversations with clients sometimes, is that they almost need that. It wouldn't offend you and it wouldn't bother you if it wasn't true. Like, if you are going to get a little bit hurt and a little bit offended by it, it's because you know deep down it's true.
Yeah, simple as that. So, if
But
yeah, go on.
going back to what you said on, like, you wouldn't get out of shape, it wouldn't happen to you. Would be then that leads me on to the next bit. I suppose that would be my biggest concern. It actually wouldn't be the, like, little bit of fat you gain or the fact that you're physically looking out of shape that would concern me as your partner. The fact that you wouldn't be yourself anymore, that I'd find the most, like, this something needs to change it, because I'm used to you being like a high performer. I'm used to you being, somebody that cares about their appearance, not even their appearance, somebody that cares about their well-being, and, like, the gym is like more than just
I was
going
going
to
to
the
say I need a haircut and a shave right now, so
Well,
taking pride in what
that's
you
the
look.
funny. That is the funny thing, I suppose. It's not necessarily about appearance, because we say the same for me. Like, I never get my hair done. Don't spend money on last year's brows, whatever. So it's not really to upkeep my appearance, but it's more. I think you'd be the same with me. If I stopped going to the gym and stopped training and stopped exercising, you would know that mentally I'm not where I should be, and, like, something. It is coming from a deeper place probably, and something's not right.
Just thinking, I wonder if what if I did get fat out of shape and I liked it.
Well, that's what I mean. Sometimes when I'm on holiday and we, like, eat whatever we want and we drink and we don't go to the gym, sometimes I am like, I could get used to this. But I know
No, no, no. If
people
you're
are
putting in
like,
that scenario,
oh,
I hate it. I
oh,
feel
I
like shit.
don't. No, I feel like I could get used to it. If I
No,
could eat and drink like that all the time and not exercise but not gain weight, I would fucking do it.
No, not gain weight. Well, that's a different scenario, isn't it? But in terms of what you're saying now, I wake up like I'm been on a 10-day bender straight. Just digestion's on all over the place. Gut feels awful.
Okay, yeah, but if
Dehydrated.
you're doing that because you did it all the time, that only happens because you're not used to doing it.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess. But surely no one likes that feeling. But then I guess if you're used to it, like you said, yeah.
That's what I mean. It doesn't impact them like that, does it? So,
Oh, speak of belly, look. Oh, yeah,
so first week of prep.
yeah, and nothing's changed.
Well, no, nothing's changed because literally nothing's changed. You've added like 30 minutes of cardio in and that's it. The food's still very high, so I will make the most of it. Thank you. Although I haven't even mentioned this on the podcast, my client that told me that I have belly fat.
Fucking hell, there we go.
I'm not telling the story because I really
Devon is a
can't.
catfish, basically. Apparently, Devon's a catfish because what the pictures on
Because
social.
basically, I will run the story through very, very quickly. Had a conversation with a client a couple of weeks ago. It was mid-session, and then it was the first of the nice weather in this country, so I had a t-shirt on with my leggings instead of a big baggy hoodie. Had a little bit of midriff showing, and then this client mid-session was saying like, "Oh, she just wants to lose weight around her stomach. Everywhere else she's kind of fine, but it's just a bit of belly fat." And then I told her like, obviously this is why we're doing the diet, the nutrition, the strength training. I said you can't spot reduce fat, the whole malarkey as you do. And then she started giggling. And I thought, I said, "What are you giggling at?" And she said, "Well, you've got belly fat as well." And I was like, "Yeah, I do. I have body fat all over, including my belly." And I was like, "What's your point?" And she was just like, "Well, you can't tell me how to lose it when you've got it yourself." And I was like, "Well, yeah." I said, "But I couldn't even be bothered to get into the whole I'm in a surplus, I'm gaining, I'm doing this," because I just thought it's falling on deaf ears, dead ears. What's the saying? I don't know. Couldn't be bothered to get into that. But then I said, yeah, and I said it is normal to have body fat as well. By the way, I said don't have, as a woman, a goal of having like very minimal body fat everywhere. Like it's not healthy. It's normal. And then she said, "But on your Instagram, you've got a really flat stomach, and in person you haven't." I was like, "Right." I said, "Right now I haven't, no." And she was like, "So you're a catfish?" And I was like, "Well, I guess, I guess if you're looking at my pet photos on Instagram, you could say that." But yeah, I really didn't know how to take it. She's not my client anymore.
Yeah, I don't know where you find these clients.
And it's not because of that she's not my client anymore. But she's not my client anymore.
Oh,
Uh,
it should.
I really didn't know how to take it. I was just like, this is so awkward.
Even though you've got higher body fat percentage than probably she has, and you have a six pack, but yeah, mate, that makes sense. Catfish.
I did really need a wee when we were having this conversation.
And you're probably eating and drinking majority of the day. Aren't
It was mid-afternoon. I'd had about four
you?
meals by this point.
Anyways, back to the topic.
Yeah. So, um, I can't remember what I was saying.
No, I forgot now. Was I leaving you? Was you leaving me?
I don't know. It was just this relationship's doomed, isn't it? Really moving forwards. Neither of us can afford to get fat apparently because the other one's going to disappear.
Well,
Um,
like, no. It depends on the reasons. If you chose to get out of shape on purpose for whatever reason, then that's a different conversation. If you had a really bad injury, accident, or something bad happened in your life in order to for you to have that extra weight behind you, then that's a bit of a difficult conversation.
it is, and I do think, like for me, and I think for you as well. I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like for us, having that conversation or having a partner that would pull me up on it, I would respect that, as I've said. But I also see that as coming from a place of love, even though we've just said that we wouldn't love each other in that circumstance. I think we're joking, but it's coming from a place of love and because I care. Like I'm saying, it's not about the physical changes. I think it's about the other changes that come alongside losing your passion for like being in the gym and physically active and things like that. I think that's what is more alarming and concerning from my point of view, that it's not really about the physical changes, it's about everything else that comes with that, because you wouldn't be the person that known you to be, and I don't know. But then maybe you're the catfish. Maybe we're catfishes at this moment in time because we look good now. Get into a relationship, you look the part, you look good, get the person, and then you're just like, yeah, I'll let myself go now. They're already here, they're comfortable, they're with me.
Nah, been with you long enough. I don't care anyway.
What if you had a client, and I have this, that comes to you and said they want to train for their partner so their partner finds them more attractive? Do you think that's a good thing, or do you think that's a bit of a toxic mindset if they're doing it for somebody else and not for themselves?
Bit of both. I'm just thinking, client Natalie, if she'll watch and listen to this, one of her main goals was to feel good enough for her partner because he pretty much looks like an action man in the gym, fucking X amount of times throughout the week, on it every single week, no hesitation. As where she wasn't at the start. She's been with me for 4 years now, and obviously now that confidence is there because the way she looks and feels, free and odd, bit stoned down. So it's good to get you going, but also Natalie, on the other hand, how can I word it? Yeah, she's got to that point and feels good for him, but at the same time, she also knows she has high value and respect for herself to do it for herself after that initially. If that makes
And
sense.
I think it's how you worded that I think is quite important. Like, she did it because she wanted to feel good for him. She wasn't doing it just for him. It was
No,
because
he's
she,
not said a single thing. He got
that's
with her at the end of the day when she was 3 stone heavier.
yeah, so she'd done it through her choice because she wanted to feel better for him. She wasn't doing it simply because of him. I think that's a big difference. But that leads me kind of on to this next question. Whose responsibility do you think it is? Because I saw this reel the other day, this TikTok, and the girl that said it was a bit like, "Oh God, I'm going to be sent to the manosphere for this," because it was a female saying it, but she said was quite blunt, and she said that I don't know how often you women need telling, but it is not your client's responsibility to find you attractive. And like Natalie took it upon herself to feel more attractive for her partner, like you've just said. So my question is, whose responsibility is it? Should your partner be finding you attractive no matter what because they're your partner? Or is it actually your responsibility to make the changes and stay attractive for your partner?
It's obviously the person, but I think it depends on the person. Because if they genuinely don't care, they're not bothered about changing. If they are, like Natalie, like say, she's a very high performer, graphs, so she's probably had a bit of a thinking naturally for herself going, I'm not happy where I am or who I am. That identity crisis, as where some people genuinely won't care. And if someone told her, probably get offended, as where Natalie's not had a conversation with him. He, like say, he's not asked. He loves her for who she is. Great.
So
She's triggered herself going, if I don't sort this shit out, it's going to impact not just myself, but the people around me. Relationships, friendships, whatever.
yeah. I just think loads of women kicked off in the comments of that girl's video because she was basically saying like it's your job to sort your shit out and stay on top of yourself, stay on top of your fitness, what you look like, in order to keep your partner satisfied, basically. But I suppose the shoe goes on both feet. Like the man also has to do that for the woman.
Yeah.
But
So it's your own responsibility. Yeah?
it is your own responsibility. Like it's not. I couldn't expect you. Like we've just had the conversation, and you've basically told me you wouldn't anyway. But I couldn't expect you to still respect me and fancy me and love me the same way as you do now in 5 years' time if I looked like a completely different person. Like I can't. Obviously, aging's inevitable, but the other stuff. Yes, shut up.
Or I was
I'll
only
be
going to say,
fully,
yeah,
I'll be fully grey by then. Just so
yeah.
you,
Your
just so
grey hairs that are coming, crazy.
yeah,
If
well,
you get
everybody knows that
if
anyway.
you get to 40 and you've like fully grey, I'm going to be
Well,
questioning.
I am riding it out at the minute. I haven't dyed it for ages.
I'm going to have to trade you in for a younger model, I think.
That's fine. I'll be fed up of you by then anyway, so it's okay.
What? So I've got till I'm 40.
That's no wait, 35.
That it's not that far away.
Yeah, I've done.
Yeah. Well, there you go, people. By 35, if I'm single, You know where I am.
Beautiful. Um, okay, last little bit for this segment because, like I said, this is a client that I was chatting to about the topic for this episode, and she wanted to send in a message. So I am going to read out her message, and then we're going to have a little conversation about it. So she has put, obviously, I won't mention her name. Hi guys, love the podcast. I'm 35 and I train 4 days a week. I've never felt better. My husband, however, has completely checked out. Since having our second little boy, he's gained just shy of 10 kilos, stopped going to the gym, and pretty much drinks beer on the sofa every night. I've tried leading by example and inviting him to my gym sessions since working with Devon, but he says I'm obsessed and it's unhealthy. I'm honestly starting to cringe when he touches me. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. I honestly starting to cringe when he touches me. Am I a shallow person for thinking this? I feel he's almost being the selfish one and shutting me out.
How old's the kid?
I don't want to get this wrong. I think he's 3.
So in 3 years, he's gained 10 kilos.
Yeah, but she might not mean like over that whole 3 years. I don't know.
No, I'm just
The
saying, yeah.
youngest one's 3, the other one's 6. She's
10
got 2
kilos.
boys.
Did it say he drinks beers every night? Yeah, fair enough. What, so you want me to break the answer down?
Pretty much, she's asking for a little bit of advice. Like, I don't think
Right.
she's.
Therapist time, let's go. We do enough this with our clients.
I don't think she's shallow for thinking what she's thinking at all. Like, she's entitled to think that, and to feel how she feels. But I do think she could be being a bit shallow if she's not having a conversation with him and trying to find out, like we've just said, what's behind this.
How long have they been together? Don't say.
About 10 years, over 10 years. We've been married for a long time.
Personally, if someone's put 10 kilos, because I think this, if this was the other way around, if that was a woman that put 10 kilos and was drinking every night, you would look at that mentally and go, are you okay? Is everything okay? It's no different to a man, from a man's point of view, because naturally a man won't get asked that, because that just probably looks normal. And yeah, he's put on the weight, don't care anymore, he drinks beers every night. I'd be going, bro, are you good? Like, you've lost yourself a little bit, you're drinking every night. That's not coming from probably a good place. So my first point would go and have a conversation if you have that type of relationship. Again, I don't know the relationship or the people. Have a sit down. Maybe I was going to say go on a date night. Hopefully it doesn't ruin the date night with that conversation. But have a conversation. Ask them if they're okay. You know, why are you drinking every night? Like, it works. I don't know what they do for work. Is it coming from work? Like, it comes from anywhere.
And I feel like when she's put at the end, I feel like he's being selfish and shutting me out. I'm assuming maybe she's tried to touch on the conversation, but she's getting shut down because he's saying that she's
Which,
shutting her out.
which naturally, as a man, most men do. It's a bit of an ego thing, and I don't know if he's got people around him to speak to. You don't know if he's speaking to his friends. Like, I'm saying this as a man, similar in the sense of like, what? How long did it take me to open up to you? In a sense, it is fucking difficult, and I'm not someone who's gaining kilos and kilos and drinking beers every night. Do you know what I mean? But I get it from a man's point of view. If they are shutting you out, they're probably not meaning to an extent.
And then obviously she's mentioned that he's calling her obsessed and unhealthy because she is doing a diet. She's going to the gym. Obviously, she's got a coach. I feel like there's two sides to look at this as well. He's either feeling a bit insecure, so he's lashing out and saying them things. He doesn't really mean it, but it's highlighting what he's not doing. So it's unhealthy and obsessed because it's just highlighting he's not doing any of them things for himself. But I also think that, so it could be, I don't want to say jealousy, but insecurity. That is, he's saying them things. But then also it could be that he is dismissing it a bit because maybe, again, we don't know, do we? They've got a 3-year-old, probably that first year after having that second child. Maybe they both lost themselves quite a bit. They still had another young child to look after. And maybe, again, like she's, a couple of years on for, right, I'm ready to refine myself. I'm ready to get back in shape, lose the baby, but like do something for myself and get that time back. And maybe again, we don't know their situation. He just feels like he's being set aside because her life is now revolving around the kids, revolving around bettering herself, and he maybe feels a bit like he's taking a back seat. He's just the one that going to work, bringing the money home. Do you know what I mean? We don't know the dynamic, but I feel like
There's so many ways to go. Like you say, if you've had the conversation, great. If you haven't, try and have it at least. At least you can say you tried at the end of the day. It sounds like he's insecure because you're trying to do well. I know plenty of couples, I've had as clients, but people in general that I know, and yeah, it's not jealousy. It's insecure because it's like shit. Why am I not doing that? And then they're scared. Let's go back to us at the beginning of our relationship. You were scared that I was just gonna go continue growing as a person, and I was gonna leave you.
Do you know what though? I don't even know if you remember
And
this conversation.
I'm fucking stuck here.
I don't know if you remember this conversation not long after we started seeing each other. We've been seeing each other a while. I've been to Greece, I've done my yoga, but I came back home and I really struggled with getting back into the routine. I hadn't been to the gym for a while. I didn't actually like, and again, people listening to this, you can hear this because I have been I hated how I looked when I came back from a yoga course. I'd not been in the gym for over 3 months. I've not done any strength training. I'd been doing a lot of yoga, but I also was in Greece, so I was drinking, what's that beer called? Mythos. Having bottles of that every night, living off like crisps, hummus, like snacky food with the girls on the yoga course, and I came back, and as much as I'd loved my time there, I didn't like how I looked at all. I felt like I'd let myself go. Even my Nana said it, but in the most lovely way. She was like, "You've gained a bit of weight," but how Nanas do. But she's like, "You look healthy." But yeah, I didn't. No, I wasn't. I didn't like how I looked at all. You even tried to get me to the gym, and I went to Ultraflex with you, and I think I cried quite a few times after the gym because I didn't even feel comfortable going into Ultraflex looking how I looked. Like I thought people can think, oh my God, she's not a coach. Like I genuinely had that in my head. And I think we had a conversation because it went on like that for quite a while. And you'd said that I just wasn't being myself. I got a part-time job in a cafe. I was running my yoga classes. I didn't really have much purpose. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And you'd said that I'm just not being myself, and it's like I'm walking around with like the weight of the world on my shoulders, and I wasn't looking myself. I don't know if you meant it in a way that, because I took it at the time that you were saying I was like not looking after myself and I was unattractive. But when I said that to you, that I feel like that's how you're saying it, you was kind of like, I'm not saying you're unattractive, but it was like you are letting yourself go, you're not doing the things you used to enjoy. And that's probably the closest thing I've got to what we're discussing here. And at the time, it did hurt a little bit, but it was exactly what I needed to be told.
I feel like we should have that conversation at the start of this podcast.
Oh.
That's a big part of like what we're trying to say, isn't it? Would we have that discussion? I can't remember that conversation, by the way.
But this is what I mean. That feels like a lifetime ago to me now. And like it does. So that's why it kind of didn't come up initially. But yeah, I think sometimes, like we've already said, sometimes people do need, but I'm glad you noticed. I think I respected the fact that we hadn't been together a very long time, but I saw it as you really care for you to notice and to have that conversation with me. I didn't see it as like, oh my God, he's been an asshole. Like, for me, I respected the fact that we didn't know each other as well as we know each other now, but you still noticed that I wasn't myself and I wasn't looking after myself and I wasn't taking pride in myself, and it was affecting me mentally. Like I was getting upset quite a lot, and it was probably down to the fact that I wasn't happy in my body at all.
Straight up talking guy, clearly since day one.
Sometimes I wish you put a pin in it though. Sometimes you just talk too much and say the wrong thing.
Pardon? When? Yeah.
Let's not get into that today.
Right, okay. Do you feel like you've answered that question for her?
I think so.
Have a conversation. Like you say, if you don't get an answer, then you've got to stick to your guns and your vows and what you want to do. Don't let that change you as a person. And if it does get worse, which I hope it doesn't, then you're going to have a conversation regardless at some point, whether you like it or not.
And I also don't think you should feel guilty for having these thoughts or label yourself as shallow. Like, you are entitled to feel this way, but just so that he is entitled to feel the way he does as well. And I think that's communication, like we've said in the past, is so important. And I can appreciate with two little ones running about, you probably don't get the time to have them in-depth conversations. And I think just having that and getting to the bottom of that is important. I feel like, now this is going to be really cringy, when you're in a relationship, you are a team. And it's almost like playing a team sport, and one of you's just decided that you're not going to partake anymore, and then you end up losing. I feel like you
Well, I
both,
wouldn't have you in my team if it's a team sport, you fucking useless at sports.
right, why do you have to take it so literally?
Because
I'm,
you're that kid at school that gets picked last.
yeah, no, I am.
See? And I wouldn't pick you.
Coordination, I can't catch a ball.
If we go play sports, you ain't getting picked, bro. That analogy was terrible. But I get where you was going from.
Park that aside, I'm a very good team player. Like, we are in this together. Whether
You're
you
good at
like it or not,
you're good at taking part. You got good spirits, kid.
I'm actually like a winner, but that's fine. I'm a winner.
Okay. Yeah,
I
fair enough.
very rarely lose.
Against me, you always lose games, but sure.
It's no, I'm just saying, yes, if it's sports, I am horrendous. But anything else, I'm quite fluky.
Anything else like what?
Like mini golf and stuff. Like if I
Did
get a
you
hole in
possibly
one,
win? Oh, they're
yeah,
saying that. I was
but
saying that. Sorry, you did beat your dad who plays golf.
yeah, I'm fluky. Like there's no skill to it. If I do happen to win, which does happen a fair bit, that's why my brother hates me because growing up I used to win everything. It was down to fluke, not down to skill because I didn't have any. But yeah, I don't know. That's completely irrelevant.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I think we've answered it.
Yeah. Have you got anything to add to this episode? Because I know it was very, you thought it was a bit of a girly one, girly orientated, but I think you got stuck in quite well.
Stokey. I'm a good therapist, clearly. Have we got anything to add in? I don't think so. No, I guess we could wrap it up there. And if any kind of final words you want to say?
No, I'm just intrigued now though. Like anybody listening, if you've got any like, if you're going through anything like this in your relationship, please send it over. Talk to me. Talk to us.
Sure. What are you doing? Why are we adding that?
I've enjoyed talking about this. I think it's important.
It might cost you per hour, but yeah, sure.
And if you're not interested in that, just upload a picture of your bum to ratemybum.com
Crazy.
and then we will just leave it there.
I don't want to Google it, but part of me wants to Google see if it is an actual thing.
I'm not sure you should. Anything could come up.
Hang on. Whilst we're here, people, shall we just do it together, shits and gigs?
If it's an actual thing, which I think it could be, I know you said it off the cuff, but I think it'll exist.
Rate. Alright. Rate my ass. God.
See, I said I did.
There actually is.
Yeah, well, I said I didn't think it would be called Rate My Bum. I said I bet they've used a different word to bum. You said peach, I said arse.
Someone would say ass, someone would say butt. There's a few.
See, we were not ahead of the game on this one.
Rate my bottom. My God.
Okay, well, I will just leave you having a good look at
Wait,
the people.
Facebook.
What? There's a Facebook page.
There's
Yeah,
a Facebook group with
there's like
4.1.
plate, isn't there? So there'll be Rate My Bum.
No, it's called Rate My Bum Crack. 4.1k members. Shall I join it?
People are like,
What the
it's a shame.
hell? It was. Oh my God! I kind of.
Don't join it. You're going to see loads of disturbing pictures.
I just want to see what to show the fucking listeners. Anyways, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah,
Fucking
I'm
hell.
going to leave you browsing people's bum cracks and I'm just going to wrap this up. So thank you all for listening so far. Any other future topics, questions, or anything you want us to talk about on here, obviously, after today's episode, literally anything goes. Shoot them in and, yeah, have a fab week.
In a bit, people.